And so that's the difference between, say, a decade ago or new technologies, is that this is going to impact not just engineers and computer scientists, but pretty much every field within the next 5 years, definitely. But in the next 10 and 20, every single job, I predict, will have to use or understand some element of AI and data.
With no further ado, I'd like to invite up Dean Dr. Ayanna Howard, the Dean of the College of Engineering at The Ohio State University. With that, I'm Dr. Howard. Let's just begin by saying thank you for being here. And you saw that. What does that make you think about when you see a video like that about generative AI?
So actually, what it makes me think of is that this stuff is actually really understandable. Like, why am I so afraid of this? Like, why am I so terrified? It's all about spaghetti and grandma. Like, we can all get with that.
So you're the dean of one of the most important colleges in the country. You're the dean of engineering, no doubt, no less. So what are your thoughts about generative AI or generative AI on college and education and careers?
Well, so one of the things is about, I would say, a decade, 20 years ago, computer science, computing was all the rage. But really, it was about how do we develop more computer scientists, right? Like companies, they're like, oh, we need more computer scientists. Engineers were like, we need more computer scientists. The difference is with generative AI and AI in general, it is going to impact every job. So it's not about creating more computer scientists, it's about creating lawyers that understand how to use AI as a tool or how to code up generative AI. It's about medical practitioners or nurses trying to understand, oh, there's the data. How do I actually understand and use AI in my own jobs? And so that's the difference between, say, a decade ago or new technologies, is that this is going to impact not just engineers and computer scientists, but pretty much every field within the next 5 years, definitely. But in the next 10 and 20, every single job, I predict, will have to use or understand some element of AI and data.
So that's kind of like the new electricity. It's going to be everywhere. So that's a great level set. So it's not just for geeky, sciencey engineering folks, but it will permeate every single sector. So with that, again, to tease up the topic, the impact on college. As a dean, how do you frame shift, or how do you think about not just on the job end and on the futures end, there's going to be a lot of AI, but you run an important engineering department. How are you approaching AI either in pedagogy and education? How are you thinking about that with the students you serve?
So there's kind of two threads. One is how do you use and how do you teach students as a tool of AI? And so I'll just use ChatGPT, which is an element of generative AI around language. And so I always give an example. When ChatGPT first came out, educators were terrified. Oh, students are going to cheat. But the thing is calculators, do you know when calculators first came out? Teachers actually thought, oh my gosh, students are going to actually have to use calculators and they're going to cheat in math. And so we were much more rapid on realizing that this was really a tool. How do you design curriculum so that it's just a tool in the classroom? So that's one element. The other is how do you now use this tool to create new knowledge, generate new information? So if I'm a biology major, instead of learning things from really first principles, well, maybe I can use elements of generative AI to couple that with my learning so that it's not about first principles, it's now I can make new pharma discoveries. I can accelerate as a student. And so that's really what's going on, is how do we not only teach students as a tool, but also teach it to impact and make them understand and create new knowledge in the classroom environment.
If a student designs something using generative AI, let's say they figure out a better way to engineer a bridge. Let's say they figure out a way to engineer some small molecules that'll cure cancer. Let's say they figure out a way to engineer a new transportation vehicle, right? But they use generative AI. Who would own the rights to that, the intellectual property to that? Is it really just another tool and so they would own it? Or is it like, well, you asked the question in ChatGPT or whatever other tool you're using, but we're not giving U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, we're not giving you the patent because it's some other bot that did it. Where's the conversation in universities around that?
Yeah, so actually there's two answers. So one is currently, today, AI, generative AI, is not allowed to receive a patent. So they're not even allowed to be co-inventors. And so they rule that you can't have a generative AI as a co-inventor on any patents, and that's nationwide. But you, as an individual, can file a patent and say, hey, I use this knowledge base to help me, but you own the patent. So a student would own it. Now, the issue is if you use some of the open source tools and you are collaborating with whatever AI tools out there, you're actually giving away your knowledge, which means that there might be someone else who's using that same tool that's like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should patent it first. And so that's really the issue is it's like, you may be the one inventing it with ChatGPT or with whatever Claude, which is another generative AI tool. But if you are not quick to the patent, that AI agent might give away your secrets to another person, and that person might be like, oh, this is really good. I need to patent this.
So that's just more an ethical thing, though, if the patent agent shared it with somebody else. That's not, right? I mean, we could technically have that happen now.
Well, it's not the patent agent. It's actually the tool itself.
Oh,
because the tool has
got
no
it.
idea. It's basically a repository. It's like the library,
Got
right?
it.
Like people go in, they check out books, they read. So it's just a library, and if I read the right book, I don't care who the author is. I'm taking that. I'm creating my own ideas, but that's the problem.